This is Alex, and welcome to Barely Braided, where we're taking a deep, deep dive into foster care, adoption, and all things parenting, even the sticky stuff. Boop, boop, dee, doop, doop. Don't you think it would be fun to podcast in the dark?
I just said that.
I know, I repeated you. Welcome to episode 41. I'm fairly certain it's episode 41. And once again, I have with me my lovely assistant, Joel Scott Ellis, the first.
Why are you giving away my middle name?
I don't know. Maybe somebody wants to look you up. How many Joel Ellises do you think there are in the United States?
Dozens. I know there's one in Reno that's a realtor.
Do you think it would be weird if you were like being introduced to somebody and he's like, "Hi, my name's Joel," and you're like, "Hey, nice name. My name is Joel too, Joel Ellis," and he had the same last name too?
That'd be kind of odd.
That would be really cool. Like, that's my life goal.
To meet another Alex with a Z?
No. I don't have a Z anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that sounds confusing for people listening, though.
Yeah, when Alex was 14, she randomly gave herself a Z in her name?
No. This was way before 14.
Oh.
I was probably like in 5th grade. So the whole story is, it started off because when I was younger, I grew up in like a very small, closed-minded town where rumors ran rampant, and all of my little girlfriends would make fun of me because I had a boy name. Alex was a boy name. And
Alexandra is not a boy name.
Yes, but my grandmother is the only person who called me Alexandra.
Still does.
Still does. So I hated my name. I hated the name Alex. It just, I felt it was awful. And so for a while I was like, well, it would be really cool if my name was Alexa. I hope she's not listening.
I had to turn around to make sure that it wasn't lighting up.
So I tried to go with Alexa for a while, and that really didn't stick. Like, it didn't feel right. It wasn't me.
Did you just keep throwing names at a wall?
Well, so then I was
stuck?
like, everybody's already calling me Alex, so maybe I'll just put a Z at the end, because I had seen it done somewhere.
Alex. Zzz.
I don't know if it was like, I had seen it somewhere, and I thought it was really cool. So I started spelling my name with a Z, Alex, with a Z at the end, and I put it in Alexandra as well. And for years and years and years and
I
years,
thought it was cute.
It was Alex with a Z, and somehow
it even made it onto your driver's license, and
yes,
and it was
my
never
passport,
and it was never legally done that way.
Yeah, and I don't know
Where it
how
happened.
I snuck it in there.
Yeah.
So it was very easy to sneak it in there for all those years. But at the point where I decided the
To
Z
get rid
had
of
to
it.
go, that was when we got married. So when
Yeah.
I changed my last name from my maiden name to Ellis, I was like, if I'm ever going to get rid of the Z, it's got to be now. So I got rid of it. And I'll tell you what, it was harder to get rid of the Z and go back to my legally correct name than it was to slide that Z in there.
You could just go by Cucumber that Grandpa Ted calls you.
Yeah, I guess I could. So when I got rid of the Z, I had a bunch of people at work and they were like, "Oh man, I really like the Z." So I offered to give it to them. So like there was one gentleman by the name of Evan, and now he will be going by Evans or
boy.
Zevin. I don't know. So that's the story of the infamous Z that is no longer with us.
Rest in peace, Z.
Rest in peace. I just did the cross thing.
Yeah, like
know
a
what I mean.
Catholic.
Yep. So what's new in your world, my darling?
We have new and exciting stuff happening at the store in Deadwood.
Oh my gosh. So we have been working so hard.
I don't think we can tell yet.
No, we're not going to tell, but I'm just going to say I've been busting my butt this week.
She has.
To complete a project for our new store.
Yep.
And I'm finally happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I'm finally ready to call my part of the project complete for now.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
great. I love it.
when can we announce our new news?
Hopefully within like 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I really hate when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I have some big news, some big things are
Cliffhanger.
coming." And then it ends up being something really stupid. I actually think our news is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's not related to foster care adoption at all.
Nope.
It's related to our store in Deadwood. So there's that. We also worked with a company called Sturgis Candles, and we have like a bunch of West River Whiskey Sturgis Candle collabs coming out.
Yeah.
They should be to us in like 2 or 3 weeks, which we can talk about those. We have Deadwood Ice. You haven't smelled them.
I trust you.
Deadwood Ice, it's kind of like a manly scent, not for me, but I think you'll really like it. And then we have a couple bourbon scents. So we have like apple and maple bourbon and bourbon butterscotch,
Cool.
which are really good.
Right on, right on.
What else is new with you?
We took a trip last week.
Tell me about it.
We went, all of us, the 4 of us, mommy and daddy and 2 little people, flew to Minnesota for a wedding, for my cousin Justin's wedding. And it was an adventure.
Yep. Well, like we promised, we're going to talk about traveling with kids today. I feel like at this point, we have done it enough times to where we have learned a lot. But before that, let's talk about kids at a wedding.
I didn't see any of the ceremony.
No.
Not a bit.
Neither of us.
I watched the entrances, and that was it.
Yep. So for anybody who may be new here, we have a 2-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Well, now they're like a little over 1.5 and a little over 2. They're about 6 months apart. And we are fostering our daughter, who's 1.5, the younger one, and our son we've adopted. So that's what's up.
I'll give you a tip. So this episode's going to be about like traveling tips with little people.
Yes, but let's clarify, not necessarily car trips because
Air travel.
Yeah, I don't do car trips. So yeah, air travel, that kind of thing.
Before we get into that, I want to give a pro tip for a wedding.
Wedding tips.
Yeah, wedding tips.
Wait, wedding tips for parents, wedding tips for grooms, wedding tips for
Parents
Okay,
that are taking little people with them.
got it.
Sit in the back, the very last row if you can.
Yes, and even then, expect to annoy the crap out of all the other guests.
Yeah.
We were even outdoors.
Yeah, and Brooks we didn't see any of it. He took off.
Yeah, that's tough. So, do you have any advice for people who have never been married as a groom? What's your wedding advice?
Don't cry.
Why?
I don't
That was
know.
my
I
favorite
did.
part.
I did.
I know. It's my favorite part when you cry.
Oh.
Just kidding.
What?
I'm just joking. That was a
Weirdo.
weird thing to say. My advice is I really wish we would have gotten a videographer. I'm really regretting not having a video of our wedding.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I have another regret too.
What? Me?
No, the groom. The groom is my regret. No, I'm just kidding. My other regret is I didn't realize we were going to be asked to speak at the reception. Is that normal?
Yeah, I think anymore it is. Nobody should have allowed me to speak at the reception. I couldn't hold a straight freaking face.
Yeah, you did some crying there too. But I feel like I was not prepared at all. And I wish I would have been prepared, had like a really nice thank you or something like that. But there was just too much going on and I didn't. Do you wish we would have written our own vows?
Yes and no. I like the traditional.
Yeah, I did too. Oh,
But
I have a third regret.
But I do like the personalized version, so to speak.
I have a third regret.
Yeah.
So,
Me?
No. Do you remember when he was
He?
our officiant?
Don.
Don.
Yep.
When he was asking us to say, I do. And I can't remember exactly what he said when he was saying it to me, but it was something like, please enthusiastically say I do or something. And I was like, I do, like that, like really stupid. I didn't know he was going to ask me to enthusiastically say it. And I, for some reason in my head, thought it would be funny to
It was funny.
do a funny voice really loud. And I now am looking back and cringing at myself.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It was all, I feel like people probably
You
don't
only
even
live once.
They probably don't even remember it, but I am
Exactly.
I'm cringing at myself
Man, don't worry about it.
for that.
So, wedding, make sure you take lots of snacks, lots of toys, lots of patience.
Lots of family members to help babysit.
Yeah. How did I do with my patience this week?
I feel like you did pretty good. I will say a sibling or two of yours may have mentioned to me that they saw you have a panic attack, possibly, at one point.
My sister ratted me out.
Yeah.
When I freaked out, Ari was in the trash.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Our hotel room, did not have enough trash cans.
No, it didn't. But another pro travel tip here: get a suite. If you can afford it, get a suite. Our room, I think, was only, I don't know, it was $555 for 3 nights. So whatever that breaks down to. But we had a bathroom and a master suite, and then we had a living room, and we had a full kitchen.
Yes,
which was
it was
killer.
very nice. I will never again book a hotel room with kids that doesn't have that much space because it is imperative that when the kids go to bed, they're in a dark, quiet room and people are not disturbing them.
Yeah, and to be able to have we went to Walmart, got a gallon of milk, and to be able to fill up their sippy cups.
Reheat food in the microwave.
Reheat food, yeah.
They had silverware, all kinds of stuff. Yes.
That was great.
That was definitely a huge win because do you remember a few months ago we went up to Kentucky and we planned to stay overnight?
Was awful.
So, number one problem, I was looking at the pictures of this hotel and I thought
And
it
you
looked
believed
nice. It was disgusting. However, it did have that separate room for the kids as well, but we didn't bring 2 pack and plays.
Right.
Well, we didn't bring any pack and plays. So instead,
we trusted that they would fall asleep on a couch or on a
air mattress.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
brought
we
an air mattress.
We bought them.
Yes. And so we
Didn't
figured that the kids would just lay on the air mattress and go to sleep. Nope, absolutely not. They need to be in a pack and play right now when we're traveling. So I feel like, do we have any other hotel? I mean, an Airbnb is also a good option if you're able to. That
For
worked
sure.
when I took Ari to South Dakota.
Yeah, but we had all of our immediate family was staying at this property, so Grandma could wake up and just come up and see the kids and hang out and whatnot. And we also had a lot of help, not just watching the kids, but my cousin Chris he's 2 years younger than I am, 4 years younger than I am, and he scrounged up a couple of car seats for us. How do you air travel with kids without car seats? Do they rent them? Do car companies rent them?
I think they do. I think some of them do.
But renting a car was out of the question because of the price.
Yeah, renting a car is hard right now.
The price would have been more than our stay at the Residence Inn.
So I believe you can, and we discussed this too, I believe you can check a car seat. We've never done that. I personally would be worried that my car seat would get all banged up and damaged, and
yeah.
I don't know that I would want to do that. So when we fly to South Dakota, my mom has a car seat. We borrow one from friends. That's what we did in Minnesota. We borrowed a car seat. I feel like borrowing is the way to go if you're able. Also, I know there is a website that allows you to search for baby equipment to rent.
Really?
Yes, it's almost like they have the car share or the home share. This is like a baby equipment share, I think.
Interesting.
But
they even have motorcycle shares now.
Yeah, I don't think that kind of thing is cheap.
No, I don't imagine it is, but yeah, having family that you can rely on, and we got to see Dale and Susanna McKenna this weekend as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
They had offered to, because we were having a hard time finding a pack and play, but they offered to bring one, and that was cool. But yeah, just rely on your family if you can, because we kind of all came in from all over the country for this.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing that we utilized is McKenna. She's in high school.
Yeah.
She babysat for us. So the kids went to the wedding. We all went to the wedding, and then about 8:00. We drove McKenna and the kids back to the hotel, and McKenna stayed and babysat, and we went back to the reception.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, which was really nice.
Thanks, McKenna.
Yes, thank you, McKenna. And do you have any other hotel advice?
Obviously get one with a pool.
Well, yeah, that was a big win for us too.
Yeah,
Make sure their hot tub's not broken.
Well, the food aspect, I know things have changed dramatically with COVID, but I typically try to get a hotel that at least has a freaking waffle maker. right?
So your advice to our foster parent and adoptive parent friends is to get a hotel with a waffle maker?
No, just make sure that you get a hotel that has like a free continental breakfast or a free breakfast, so you don't have to go somewhere to pick up food and bring it back, and y'all can just kind of be cash
Be cash.
and grab something from the lobby and
I'll tell you
and
where
eat
I
it.
want to grab something from is that IHOP.
Yeah, that place was good. I haven't been to IHOP in a minute.
Dude, I'm not a steak person, but I got like the spicy poblano steak bowl. I am telling you, this was the best meal that I've ever had at an IHOP. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm telling every single person in the entire world two things.
It was
Number one,
definitely better than the IHOP we almost got shot at in Memphis.
that's true. Number one, if you go to an IHOP, in fact, not if you go to an IHOP, make it a priority to go to an IHOP to get you a spicy poblano bowl. They are now my new favorite over Taco John's because Taco John's got rid of the churros. The second thing that I feel is very important related to food is the fact that I created my own recipe. I'm not a cook.
This doesn't have anything to do with traveling with kids.
No, it doesn't. But sometimes parents are concerned with macros and fitness, and I'm really not. I kind of like delve in it a little bit, but I created a macro friendly whipped peanut butter. It is so good, so yummy. It's high in protein, low in fat, low in calories, and I'm telling you, it is so good. So
I can vouch for it because I'm not a huge... I like peanut butter, but not like Alex does. And it's good. I wanted to go back...
hold on. I'm not finished with that thought.
Sorry.
The peanut butter thought is very important. So if there's anybody out there who knows how I can
Scale.
ask a company to create this and not steal my recipe, and I can brand it and sell it, like, please let me know, because I'm serious about this. My new whipped peanut butter is like going to be the next big thing. Okay, sorry. Continue. Go ahead.
Earlier we had talked about gate checking things. Mm-hmm. Strollers.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
This trip we didn't take a stroller. We have a one that folds up into like a little tiny package, right?
Yes.
And that one had to be gate checked, and it did get lost. We got it back, but it was lost. So this trip, both of the kids can walk, both of the kids can run. So we thought it would be okay to not have one, right?
Yeah, so we had an alternative. What was our alternative?
We could have gate checked these things, right? But we got the leashes.
Backpack leashes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brooks is a dinosaur and Ari was a giraffe.
Yes. So people are probably going to have some feelings about our backpack leashes. I know somebody at the airport had some feelings on our backpack leashes, which we are going to save for our next
We'll save
episode.
that for next one.
But that's a good story. So,
I was dumbfounded leaving that airport.
yes. People have opinions on backpack leashes. I'm just going to say, as a parent, no shame, no judgment if I see somebody holding a leash and on the other end is their toddler.
Yeah, and I have to kind of backpedal on that one because I gave my brother and Sarah so much crap. When I think it was either Landon or Lauren, that my niece or nephew that had a backpack leash, and I gave them holy heck for it, because I had one as a child, and I thought that was very mean. But my
You thought it was mean to be on a leash?
Yeah.
See, I don't
my
even think
mom
our
told
kids
me
would.
I was busy.
You're busy. I don't even think our kids would remember or have an opinion about. I don't think they have a negative opinion
No, I
about
still
them
have
at
a
all.
picture of myself with one of them at Valley Fair in Shakopee, Minnesota.
Well, my opinion on the whole thing is I would much rather get comments / rude stares from people rather than either having my kid run away or somebody run away with my child.
Yeah, absolutely.
So backpack leashes it is. Okay, so would you say that you prefer traveling with kids on backpack leashes or with a stroller?
I don't think I've ever traveled with a stroller, so I'm not sure I could give a valiant. You have, I haven't.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, when we traveled with Midgie, she was in a carrier.
Yeah.
Oh, but she had a stroller. But mainly we just kept her in the carrier, so that doesn't really count.
But traveling with one versus a double stroller or
Yes.
whatever, I mean,
Well,
there's
so
a big
I traveled
difference
with Brooks solo and with Ari solo. And both of those times, I took like the little pocket stroller, which I definitely preferred. I think, I don't know. It's a toss up for me.
Yeah.
It's a toss up. Okay, so continuing with air travel tips. So
Can we jump to snacks?
No, we got to go in order. I'm sorry.
Okay.
In order to travel with a child, if they're over 2, you need to buy their own seat.
Mm-hmm. So we had 3 seats.
Yes. If they're under 2, you are not required to buy a seat for them. However, when I traveled with Ari, even though she is under 2, I chose to buy a seat for her. At 1.5, she needed her own seat. So that is my next piece of advice. If your child is over, like, I would say sitting up age, over like, I don't know, 6 months old, I would recommend buying your own seat for the child, especially if it's a full flight and you're going to have people sitting on both sides of you.
You never know when you're going to have to change a diaper and you need to lay them down.
And we had to do that. So, okay, go on with snacks.
Snacks. Everybody's favorite part. My pro tip for airplane travel with little people and the snack department is gummy bears or gummy whatever, because it's not going to stick to their hands. They like them. They don't make a mess. There's no crumbs. There's no anything.
They're not greasy.
They're not greasy, and they're filling.
Yes.
I like gummy bears.
Well, and that's another important thing too that just like kind of popped into my mind and I didn't have written down. But snacks that both the adults and the kids will eat.
Yeah, maximize space.
That's a double win. Bring lots of snacks. So yeah, we had good luck with like fruit snacks. We had good luck with fruit rolls. Semi good luck with
the
pouches.
Fruit leathers and pouches, yeah.
Yeah.
Pouches could get a little dicey though.
You just have to watch them really carefully because we have had our kids like explode pouches all over us and themselves in the past. What are other good snacks? So also I tried like those peanut butter filled crackers. That wasn't good because it got their fingers all greasy and then they would wipe their greasy fingers on like their clothes or...
You want to know what I thought of when you said cheese crackers?
What?
Combos.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are so good.
Goldfish are decent because they're not super like crummy.
But you get cheese, you get the cheese like on your fingers, the powder.
Yeah. You just need to look for things that don't get your fingers crummy and nasty.
Yep.
I would say all nutrition goes out the window when you fly.
Yeah.
So similarly to that, well, kind of, let's go on the liquid path because I didn't realize this until we started traveling with our first foster daughter that
Where are you going to find milk?
Well, no. They will allow you to bring water through security for the purpose of baby bottles. So nobody else is allowed to have water through security or liquids. But if you are traveling with an infant who uses a bottle, they will let you bring water, and you should.
Yeah. I wonder what age that cuts off at, or like pounds or what have you.
I wonder
if we could have taken water in.
I would assume yes. I mean, I would lie to them and say they still drink formula. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is we didn't need it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a big deal. Okay, so go with milk.
Milk is extremely hard to find in an airport.
Yeah, for some reason it's like hiding.
Yeah. Hudson News oftentimes doesn't have it. Your best bet, you can find it once in a while in those gift shops or whatever. But Alex found this out recently that your best bet is to go to like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks.
There is usually a Starbucks like every 75 feet. And they will sell you a cup of milk. Like any kind of milk you want.
Oat milk.
Almond milk. Whole milk. 2%.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, they'll give you what you want.
I wonder if they do a cup of whipped cream.
I'm sure they probably would. Okay, let's talk toys. So, okay, Ari and I had a big dilemma when we flew. She really like gave me a run for my money because I bought this like kit on Amazon. It was like a fidget toys kit for kids.
Yeah, with like the little bubble poppers and...
A big mistake.
Really?
So, yes, the first thing, it came with, do you remember those toys? They're plastic filled with colored water and you flip them upside down and then the colored pieces like drip down and make a little thingy spin it, whatever. So it came with one of those and it's like a hard plastic. She hit me on the face with it and I got so mad. Don't
Well,
bring those. Nothing hard, nothing
yeah,
heavy.
nothing slimy.
It also came with like the
Those
squishies
eggs that had
and
the eggs that had the squishy stuff in it. Brooks broke one of those here
yep.
before we left, so we didn't take them. Let's talk about
Wait.
Ari.
The squishies also
Right.
get lint stuck to them.
Yep.
So by the time you get to your destination, these squishies are just disgusting.
And what happens if you bite them?
So the kit also came with these little, they were like stress balls, but they were filled with water and also filled with, do you know what Orbeez are? They're like these like squishy colored balls, basically. So the stress ball is filled with colored balls, right? And so she was playing with it in the Chicago airport, and I was like, I don't know, paying attention to something else. Homegirl bites this ball open, and the Orbeez fly everywhere, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in a busy airport, and I was so embarrassed.
Are they like the
She's
size of like
soaking-
grains of rice?
No, bigger than that. Like I would say like somewhere between a half inch and a quarter inch in diameter. I don't know, but there was a ton of them. And so she soaked herself, and there's these little colored balls everywhere. Somehow, like, the maintenance people immediately found us and started sweeping up, and I just felt so embarrassed. It was awful. So stuff like that is a no-go. Okay, so what should you bring on air travel?
We're not big screen time people. Like we don't have to monitor it because we really don't watch a lot of TV, but we do know that if we really need to occupy the kids, we can throw in a show. So for like maybe 5-10 minutes, some nights when we're eating, if we absolutely have to, we'll throw on a show. And we know that it occupies them. So we downloaded a few shows on Netflix. I think it was Netflix or whatever, on an Amazon Fire tablet, an old one.
Yep, that has that case on it, that protector that's like foam with a handle.
Yep. I think that cover thing was only like $20. Mm-hmm. So they got to watch Netflix and cartoons. Llama Llama Red Pajama.
Yeah, so the tip is make sure you download the Netflix shows before your trip, because
Right.
I have found, like, if you download them on the tablet, they don't automatically show up on your Netflix on your phone.
Right.
You know, so like I would download them, like a couple different shows, a couple different places, and make sure you do it before you get to the airport, because everybody knows that the airport Wi-Fi is awful. And then the other thing I learned, at least for Apple devices or for like iPhones and probably iPads, if you're on Netflix and you have a problem with your kid like pushing the buttons or accidentally
Brooks.
exiting, yeah, our kids definitely have that issue, and then they get mad. If you screen lock in the Netflix app, so Netflix app has a lock button, but for whatever reason it like only halfway works. I don't really understand it. But screen lock it, and then also do what's called guided access on iOS, which is like, you have to set it up in the settings, but it's called guided access. Google it. How you turn it on is I think you like triple click your power button, something like that, but it like extra locks your screen. So they can't push buttons. They can't turn it off. They can't make it go away.
Upside
and so if you,
down and whatnot.
yeah, I found if you do both of those things, it is pretty effective.
Awesome.
Yep. And
I
also,
even learned something there.
yeah, also we found that like the over-the-ear headphones tend to keep their attention on
Over-the-ear
Netflix.
wireless headphones if you can. Just so there's no cords in the way, and it's just an extra thing to get in the way.
That helps. And you know, you said it, like the screen time. We really don't do screen time because honestly, like we're busy. We really don't have a whole lot of time. So all like parenting, brain health things kind of go out the window when we fly. I found that the toys that really keep them occupied are like a little mini electronic cell phone, a little kid's iPad, like a kid's tablet thing.
That one tablet thing that Brooks took that had like his ABCs on it.
Yes.
That one did really, really well. That occupied him for a long time.
Yes, it keeps them so entertained, and you know, they can't be super loud electronic toys, but luckily the ones that we have didn't seem to be too loud. They didn't bother anybody.
Make sure they have adjustable volume. You don't want to piss off the other people that are flying. And if I could just talk about that for a minute, that's my biggest stressor when we fly, is what other people think. And I normally, listen, I've worn some goofy clothing. I've had big giant earrings in the past. I've got a lot of tattoos. I normally could care less what people think of me, but I don't want them to think that I'm a bad parent.
I don't think, I mean,
So
you're your harshest critic.
yeah, but I get so tense and so anxious, like when they're even slightly misbehaving on a plane, just because I want people to think that they're well-behaved children, which they're pretty good behaved.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like our kids, they have big feelings, they have big personalities. Like, if I compare them with like the other kids in their daycare or the other kids I know that are their age, our kids are not, they don't behave worse.
Yeah.
They have more emotion. They tend to show more emotion,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But they're definitely not like badly behaved children. And like, I have that fear sometimes too, like people are going to judge me for being a bad parent, or they're going to think my kids are awful or whatever. But then I think about it too, like how many of those people have their own kids? And even for those who don't, they were kids at one point.
Yeah, but I remember like when I used to fly a little bit more, like I remember getting places and being like, ugh, people say, how was your flight? Ugh. I had a 2-year-old screaming there's a 2-year-old screaming the whole dang time.
Well, that's
awful.
the other thing too. Like every time we've flown, other than like maybe this happened with Midgie because she was quite a bit younger, but with our older kids, I say older, 2-year-olds, I have never been on a flight with them where they've like screamed and cried for an extended period of time. If they're being difficult, it's because they want to run around or they're like yelling out of excitement. You know what I mean? Like it's never been like they're screaming or mad for more than like 3 seconds.
Airplane.
Yes.
I was a little bit taken aback because Brooks is infatuated with airplanes.
Loves them.
Loves them. We live fairly close to the airport here in Nashville, and every 10 minutes he's plane, and he'll hear a jet engine outside. He'll run to the window and look. So I was a little taken aback that he wasn't so excited to be in that airplane, but maybe he didn't know. I don't know.
I don't think he really understood. Maybe he doesn't get it yet. Okay,
I don't really get it yet, so it's okay.
The next tip is bring a change of clothes for the children.
Yeah, on the airplane. In your carry-on.
Yes, like I was certain. So it has been quite a while since we were in the stage where we changed our kids' clothes during the day. Like typically our kids are at a point where they don't get messy enough to need their clothes changed during the day.
We used to send like 2 to 3 outfits per kid per day to daycare, and we don't do that anymore at all.
Yeah, so I just figured we were not going to need an extra change of clothes. Well, whenever Ari bit that ball open, and like, even though I tried to change her like so often, she still peed through her clothes. Bring an extra change of clothes, regardless, even if you think you don't need it.
And she had really bad diarrhea that trip too.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing too, is like airplanes are not baby changing friendly.
Mm-mm.
Every airplane I've ever been on, none of them have a changing table in the lavatory. None of them, not one of them. So what happens when your kid takes a huge giant dump? What do you do? Like, what are your options? You can take him in the bathroom and like try to, I don't know.
Ari crapped up her back 3 times in an hour-and-a-half flight.
And 3 times I changed her right on the seat next to me.
Yeah. And that having that extra seat really was a godsend. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you didn't have to put her like in the aisle or something. You could kind of do it against the wall.
Let's talk about what the parents should wear. Do you have a preference? Like, what makes you most comfortable when you fly? Or does it matter?
Yeah. Depends on what my baggage situation is. I typically like either tennis shoes or flip-flops. Flip-flops preferred going through security.
So I
wear shorts, and if it's wintertime, I'll wear sweatpants and a sweatshirt. If it's summertime, I'll wear shorts and a t-shirt.
So I actually was listening to another podcast recently, and they were talking about how the man next to them was wearing flip-flops and how they thought that was very disgusting. And they didn't think that like people next to you want to see your feet on a flight.
Come on.
They don't want to be next to you and see. I'm just saying, like, I don't necessarily feel that way, I don't think, because I'm kind of like too busy and wrapped up in my own thing. But some people are going to judge if you're wearing flip-flops on an airplane.
Well, then make sure you take care of your piggies.
Make sure you get a piggy cure.
Yeah.
A pedicure. Okay, so I have some thoughts on this too. At first, one of my flights, I remember I was wearing like a really cute, comfortable t-shirt dress and it was short sleeved. And then I had like a chambray shirt to go over it that I would tie around my waist. And I was like, man, this is like really cute. It's comfortable. Like it's loose fitting. Everything is going to be good. And then I got to thinking, if I'm chasing toddlers around, even though my dress is not short, I don't want to deal with my butt hanging out at any point by accident. So I decided against that. But the other thing I noticed is that, especially flying in the like early fall / late summertime, is I got hot, like sweating hot
You've
every
always
single
been
time.
hot.
Well, thank you.
I'm serious.
Were you not like sweating the whole time though?
That was a little warm, but I mean, I don't think it was the temperature of the airplane. It was just trying to keep anxiety and trying to keep kids.
Yeah, it's like a stress thing.
Yeah.
But instead of wearing this t-shirt dress, I changed my mind. I wore yoga pants. So my yoga pants have a pocket for your cell phone. Game changer for flights. I'm telling you, I will never again fly without these yoga pants with a pocket. That's where my cell phone went. I never lost it. If I had printed boarding passes, that's where it went. Like every time I needed it, it was right there, handy. It wasn't going to get lost. It wasn't going to get left in the seat back pocket. I'm telling you, yoga pants with a pocket for flying.
Yeah, you said something right there that made me think of something else to add.
Okay.
Boarding passes. If you're flying on any sort of major carrier, make sure that you check in online and just have your boarding pass on your phone. Because then you don't... I was carrying Brooks because he wanted through security and because he wanted to be up. And that way you don't have to fiddly fumble around with paper boarding passes and your ID and all that stuff. So it's just all in one place. And what I thought really worked handy, we flew Delta this trip and have lately quite a bit, is our whole party, all 4 of us, were on my app.
Yeah.
So I scanned everybody's.
Well, okay, so that's interesting you say that, though, because when I flew American, they required me to have a printed boarding pass because I had an infant lap seat at one point. I don't know, I don't think that was like maybe 2 times flying ago, so maybe that has changed, that you can now do an infant lap seat on mobile boarding passes, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. But check into it, and if it's available, I would highly recommend you do it.
Yep. So the last tip thing I have, other than I have like a few little packing things, but the last like actual air travel thing is make use of the family bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Like the family bathrooms, if you're looking for them, they are easy to find. Before I had kids, I would have never noticed one. If you are a person who is traveling without children or without, like, you don't need any extra assistance, do not waste your time. Do not waste everybody else's time going into the family bathroom just because you think you're entitled. Same thing with the big, huge stalls. I've traveled with strollers with Ari and have had to wait for people to get out of the big, huge stall just because they thought they needed it. Like it had nothing to do with the fact that they needed extra space. It was because, I don't know, maybe they wanted to use the bigger, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's one thing that bothers me so much is people who think they're entitled. And this is what I think about before I go to bed, Joel. Like, okay, so if you're in a restroom and all the stalls are taken.
You think about big stalls in restrooms when you go to bed?
Yes. If you're, like, let's say you enter a restroom.
She's all mine, folks.
If you enter a restroom and let's say there's 4 stalls, one of them is big and the rest are regular size, but all the regular size ones are taken and you don't have a child with you or you don't need the bigger stall, do you wait in case somebody comes with a stroller behind you, or do you just go into the bigger stall?
Well, I tend to go in the bigger stall often anyway. I mean, I'm 6'5", 270 pounds.
Well, okay, hold on.
It's hard for me to sometimes maneuver in the smaller ones.
That also brings up...
With a bag.
Right. But that also brings up the question, like, is it more often that females bring children / strollers / toddlers / whatever into the restroom than males do?
I don't know. I mean, I took Brooks in almost every time I went. One time I changed him in there.
So how would you feel then? Let's say you had a kid in a stroller, or better yet, a double stroller with 2 kids, and you go into the restroom and the double stall or the big stall is taken by somebody who doesn't need it. And you've got like screaming kids with poop running up their back.
I do see your point.
It makes me so mad. Like, okay, it's one thing if you are like a bigger person and you have a reason for needing it, but the people that I generally see, and I guess I like am kind of extending judgment, which I shouldn't do because maybe there's like something going on that I missed or that I can't see, whatever. But I think in a lot of cases, they just use the big stall because they feel like it, even though there are little stalls available.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I just have 2 packing things.
Okay, in the airport, can I mention something?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a layover or if you have extra time before you get to the airport, especially if it's one that you're not familiar with, perhaps look at their website and see where their play places are.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
That one in Minneapolis really saved us.
Oh my gosh,
it was
yes.
great.
I think by then we were so like programmed to be stressed and anxious while flying, and we sat down.
This one just happened to be right, just maybe a gate and a half to 2 gates away, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, we sat on the bench. Our kids could run free. We didn't have to worry about
it was all fenced in.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about them running away or being in a bad mood or whatever. That was great.
Yep.
Look for the play places. So the play place, was it in Sioux Falls? Where was
Minneapolis?
It was like closed off. Was that Minneapolis?
No, that was here in Nashville.
Yeah.
It wasn't open because they're renovating.
Oh, I thought it was closed because of COVID.
No, I think it's because they're renovating. They were trying to open a business next door to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Look for a play place if you're able. That would have saved my butt in Chicago when we had an extra 3-hour layover that we didn't expect.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think to go look for one. Yep. Okay, so 2 packing things. Number 1, this is going to sound really bad, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Don't bring extra things to try to make yourself look like a better parent that you're not going to use, aka a toothbrush. Is that bad?
We brush our teeth every night here, and I didn't even notice that we didn't do it there.
Right? See, I thought about bringing one because I didn't want people to like judge or whatever.
My father was a dentist.
Yes, we did not bring a toothbrush. And yeah, we didn't even think about it. This is bad. I should not be saying
Pops,
this.
I hope you didn't hear that. But I know first thing when this thing goes up, you're going to hear it and you're going to say something.
Well, and actually along the lines of like not bringing too many things, I actually wrote this down because when I went to South Dakota, I brought like 6 pairs of shoes for Ari because I wanted her to be like dressed.
You
so
wanted
cute.
her to look cute, yeah.
Yes, and really it was more hassle than it was worth. It would have been so much easier for her to just have like 1 or 2 pairs of like comfortable shoes and then like comfortable clothes, baby jeans that are made out of like cotton, just comfortable stuff.
Right.
This started with shoes, not toothbrush, and then I just chose the wrong
shoes.
Okay, and then the other packing thing, who told me this? It might have been Nikki, I can't remember, but pack your kids' shoes inside your shoes. Mm-hmm. It's just a space saver.
I didn't think about it. And I told Alex earlier when we were thinking about what we were going to talk about tonight in our pre-planning meeting, if you will.
AKA
like that's
dinner time.
Yeah, dinner. I said that make sure that you utilize the dad's space too, because for me, in the suitcase, because I have my own suitcase and I don't typically fill it up. I had a pair of cowboy boots in there and running shoes, and I still had plenty of space. So utilize their space too if you need it.
Yeah, I just thought of something else too. So I didn't realize this, and this was actually your doing. You can, if you're staying in a hotel, I don't know if everybody knows, you can call and request a crib, and they will leave one in your room for you, which is how we got one of them.
Yep, that was awesome.
Yes.
Not everybody does, but I was, when we were having troubles finding the pack and plays, I went on their website, and it said that they had cribs at request. So we had almost 2 identical pack and plays, and worked out great. Yeah. And it was in the room waiting for us when we got there.
Yeah, all set up, ready to go. And I'm almost...
It wasn't set up. It was just in the bag. But
oh,
yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm almost wondering, too, that hotel that we went to in Kentucky that we ended up not even staying the night because we knew nobody was going to sleep. What if they had pack and plays? Because I feel like if we could have gotten 2 of them, maybe we could have stayed overnight. Maybe we could have gone to Dinosaur World the next day.
Yeah.
I'm so sad I missed Dinosaur World.
I can't say I'm upset.
I'm really actually upset about it.
I was glad to be home in my bed that night after that adventure.
Yeah. True. All right. Well, can you think of anything else? I'm not sure how long this episode has been, and I hope it's been like a little bit helpful. Again, like I wouldn't consider us experts by any means, but if any of the listeners have like other travel advice, I would love to hear it because with our kids, I would love to continue traveling. I want them to be good travelers, comfortable, well behaved. I want this to be something we do as a family.
Yeah, and if y'all have tips, leave messages on our socials, and we're always up for tips.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you got?
Nope.
Okay, well, once again, big thanks to Ruben. And I also wanted to just put it out there into the world that if you like this episode, please consider leaving a 5-star review on iTunes because I love reading through them and they're just really heartwarming. They're very nice. They make me feel good. And also sometimes like Instagram messages, I'll get Instagram messages and it just makes me happy. This is why we do this. Like, okay, so another thing really quick.
This is not a monetized podcast, folks.
That's what I was going to say is we're going to do a podcast on race and it's going to take a little planning. But I, through this racial issue thing, whatever, was accused of monetizing and making a huge profit off my kids. Listen, we make $0 off this podcast. In fact, I've spent quite a bit on...
Have you even made... How much do you think you've made? Like $4?
Pennies. And that was only just to set it up to see if it worked.
Yeah.
Pennies. Literally pennies.
Was it pennies?
Pennies.
Pennies.
Well, and also, we do contribute quite a bit to local foster care organizations.
Yeah.
Both items and straight up money. And...
Yep, we got an event coming up we need to talk about too.
Right now?
No, in the next episode.
Okay. We've gone off on so many tangents. Anyways, if you would be so kind as to leave a 5-star review or a 1-star review, I really don't care because it really makes no difference. But at least like write your thoughts. Like tell me what you think. What do you like to hear? What do you not like to hear? What do you want to hear more of? And I would really appreciate it.
Please don't ask her to fire me.
No, I think they like you.
No.
All right. Well, have a great week and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.